This is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome to my final video in the series of my July daily. This was a collaboration with Melodi from Making Memories with Melodi. And Melodi reached out to me because we're both in Oregon and she thought it would be fun to do a collab together. And I am forever grateful that she did because I had a fabulous time on this project and I really appreciated the fancy flow kit that she sent me. So be sure and check out melodymade.com where you can see her kits. In this video, I'm wrapping up the end of the month of July, and you saw many of these supplies earlier. I'm putting a whole bunch of stuff on a tag that, quite frankly, I considered throwing out. I mean, it was a mixed media gone sideways thing, but I just get it in my head and I won't throw things out. And this video is also somewhat a cleanup. I'm going through and I'm grabbing things off the counter and adding little bits and pieces and really using things that I had set aside for this project. And you'll see that more. I'll point it out when we're in that phase where I'm just grabbing random things and putting them together. So here I have this little Dollar Tree album of die cuts, and some of those dies I borrowed from my friend, cut quite a few of them and put them in the book, so I flip through it now and then for different things. Enjoy the simple life, or the simple things in life. That was a cut apart from a 4th of July piece of paper that I had sitting out, and I saw it and I just loved it. So I'm making a double pocket for this page with it. And to do a double pocket, I just put adhesive around 3 sides. I won't seal up the top at all. It's usually a good idea, but sometimes I forget, especially on the front part. I just get gung-ho and glue it all together. So I'm making the last few pages, putting in some more details, and then I'm done. This is the final video. Melodi's already made hers. I was running a little behind. The only thing I have left, and I'll show you some charms probably at the end, is I still want to make a tassel. I've never made a tassel before, and Melodi had a tassel making video, and she used the things that were in her fancy flow kit. So I have the same products essentially, and I'd like to make a tassel, and I have some really cute charms. I think I'll show you at the end, or maybe they're lost on the counter, that I would put in there. So a few finishing touches. I think for the most part, I'm done and I will be journaled, and I have forever documented this crazy month of July 2020. And it has been different than we expected. We thought this journal would be about all the places we went as things were opening up and all the people we got to see. And Oregon hasn't really been there, especially my county. We're a hot spot, which makes us sound cool, but isn't. Here I did journaling papers in both of those pockets. And the way I did it for this video is I went through, made the pages, tried to figure out what I was going to journal on, and then flipped to the other one. Kind of like if you made it the month before and then just journaled in it, which I hope that next time I do a daily journal like this, I will get farther ahead in at least creating the bones, putting the numbers on the pages, that kind of thing. But 28, we're almost there, 28. And I'm using all the random little stars off the counter, tearing the edge of the page for interest. I love tearing the paper. It's one of those things I do all the time. And as long as you tear in the same style all the way around or the same direction, it'll look the same on all sides. Somebody happy mailed this gold star garland to me, and I decided it was going to go on this page. I had things that I wanted to use in the journal that were sitting out, and we're to the 27th or 28th on this page, so we have to start using the stuff. Miles and miles of washi tape. If you have too much washi in your stash, use it for layers on pages, backgrounds on cards, all sorts of stuff. My glue's giving me a little trouble. There we go. You could use different glues to glue that garland down, but I just didn't think art glitter glue was going to hold that well, so I used my Beacon 3-in-1. This smells horrible. It's not my favorite glue, but it does glue weird things together. And the papers in this journal, many of them are very floppy because they're thin, and I think that makes it harder for art glitter glue to glue metal garland onto if it's going to have a lot of motion and mobility. And that's why the beacons works really good in art journals too, when you're flopping the pages around. Many of these things, by the time we get to the 28th, I've used them, right? I've used a whole bunch of those pebbles, ephemera circles, and so I'm trying to add different things to it, change it up, use different background papers. The tickets were from the kit from Melodi, and this puffy sticker that says Hello America was, I think it's the Pebbles collection. It was from that paper collection, and I just love puffy stickers. I will put them on everything. Here, the tag comes back into play. I'm fiddling with the string on it because I didn't like how I put it on. It was past the 28th by this point, and I had some notes, and I knew there wasn't much to write about on the 28th. So that is the one advantage to making your pages later. You can make a page that has more room for journaling or less room. The 28th was a work day. Nothing exciting happened. I did not need miles to journal, but I'm trying to figure out what to use as a tuck spot for that tag. And then I came to this piece of paper, and check me out. I just glued it on real quick. Done. Trimmed the edges. I thought I was pretty cool because usually I take it off, mark it with a pencil, put some glue, whatever, and that worked pretty well. Now I get a little confident and nearly glue that tag in there. So I should have pulled the tag out at that point, but I left it. But I did get it unhooked later. The die cut of the US, I wanted to use those as tuck spots, but they just weren't working. And then I realized I had this one left and I could just put my numbers on it, and that would be a great way to help them pop because I like the contrast. And that blue netting was from the kit from Melodi. I don't know where she got that. I don't know what it is, but I love it. And all the numbers, I just used my numbers and die cut them out of random things. And those stars, the one I just glued on, that came from like a baking set at Joann last year after clearance. Then I got way too much glue. I mean, it was like a flood. Had to get a Kleenex, clean it up a little. It was fine. We moved on. This is where I started to get into, these are things I want to use. They make me happy. Okay. So I wanted to use more of that blue netting, and I had already only used it once. That purpley blue star thing was the last of something that was left. I had another one of those glitter hearts. I'm going through the counter and trying to use things up that I like. I loved the paper from Melodi's kit, and I had that little tiny square of that light blue paper left. So I'm just throwing things down there that will make me happy, and maybe they'll go together on this page. Sometimes it doesn't work, but I needed something for contrast, so I used that as a lighter background. I should have put the 2 over to the left. It looked better when I tested it, but that's okay. It's fine. Then I have tons of these 3D stars. I think they might have been Tim Holtz from Tuesday Morning. And so I'm gluing those on with the 3-in-1. Again, probably would work with art glitter glue, but it would need a little more time to dry. And it might not handle just the sheer floppiness and bulk of this book. I'm sure it would work on a card. I don't know how well it would work here. Then I tried some hearts. I didn't like those. I put those back. I needed a 0 for the 30th, so I had a little bit more of a paint smush, and I die cut it out. Then I had this little piece of paper and sticker layered up, and I wanted to use it. So again, just saying, okay, these are the things I have left. It's almost like a new crafter. When you're down to the end and you want to use them and you're not going to look around for anything more, it really helps you focus and cruise along. And that's what I was doing at this point. Then I got a little off track here. I had these foiling scraps from my friend Noni. And so one of them was silver, so I didn't want that one. But then the other one it was holographic, so it had some gold and kind of picked up the foil garland. So you just put down a piece of double-sided adhesive tape, whatever double-sided tape you have. You put it down and then you rub the foil on it. And these were her rejects. So the one I'm going to use on this left-hand side page right here, it was crinkled like it had gone through a machine. It makes a really cool effect on the page, but you can't really see it. And I'm using my fingernail and that metal ball thing because I can't for the life of me at this point find a bone folder. They are both lost in the pile on the counter, and I'm on a roll, so I'm just going for it. I've stopped and looked around a little. I edited that out for you, but I couldn't find it. And here I'm starting to get low on journaling paper, but I really like the red gingham paper, so I just decided to use my journaling on little tiny pieces of paper. And again, this red sequin trim, it came in the kit from Melodi, and I was not letting it get away. I had only used it once, and I wanted it in there again. And that's my box of leftover things that I wanted to use or things I've set aside. So there were some wood pieces in there. This one says choose happy, and I just grabbed it and glued it on. I don't know why I took a break from the sequin trim. I was probably trying to figure out how to attach that and make it work. And I wanted it to be like a pull tab to pull that journaling card out. And I think I got it. And then I trimmed it off, and it has loose threads at the end where sequins could keep falling off. So I'm going to touch that up with art glitter glue and just push those strings down into it. The less you touch the beacons glue, the happier you will be. Then I tried to put a flag on the journaling strip, but I just could not trim the corner off of a flag. I was not going to do that. Any other sticker I would have in a heartbeat. It worked there really nicely above the 30. And all of these bits, like this was a bit of twine that was in that box. So I'm just using up the leftovers. If I'm working on a project and I have 3 inches of a trim left, I don't throw it away. I just put it in a box. That was a smush piece of paint stuff that I die cut a heart. Now, I was on a roll right before that. I was on a roll. But I took a break because I happened to look up at my phone, which I film with, and it reminded me that Christy Marcotte was doing a de-stash on Etsy, and it was 9:06, and it started at 9. So I turned off the camera, went on there really quick, looked through, picked out what I wanted, and then I'm back. Didn't lose my mojo, but definitely distracted me a little, and I took a break. Here, I'm just playing with all the wonderful washies. I had so many red, white, and blue washi. It was overwhelming. I didn't use hardly any of them. Then I wanted some more stars. That big one star was kind of lonely, and I wanted to bring some of that red ink onto the left side. I, many years ago, was a double-page layout scrapbooker, and sometimes in junk journaling and art journaling, I just can't break that habit, where I'm trying to bring the same color to the other side of the page or balance out the page. I don't know that I need to, but I like to. The stamp says, happiness is not a destination, it is a choice. And I think that's important to remember during COVID and always. You just have to decide. It's not when something happens or in the future. It's not a place you get to. And here, that little gingham circle, it was just a die cut I had on the page. This circle I'm gluing on right now was an embellishment cluster that I made goofing around. I don't know when, maybe it was in a video a long time ago, and it hasn't worked on anything. The love sticker is a little green for this, but I just decided to use it anyway. As I went through my embellishments, I found the sewing machine, the thread, and the thimble. They have nothing to do with this, but I wanted to set them out for another project, so I didn't lose sight of them again. I have a tendency to keep all my wood pieces together, and that really doesn't make sense, but that's how I bought them, and I just shoved them in a container. And here, I love wood and I love stars, so I'm using these on my project. Oh, I'm sorry. It says happiness is not a destination. It is a way of life. See, that's even better. And the little wood piece right there says smile, and I used a bit of fabric from, I think that was from my stash. I think I tore it up to do something else with it at some point and didn't use it. My glue is giving me trouble, but at this point I've lost the lid. There it is. So I couldn't put it upside down in a jar because I couldn't find the lid. And I like how the everyday shows through that envelope, and that envelope is junk mail or something I was supposed to pay a bill with. I don't know. Now, the only reason I measured right there with my ruler is I wanted the words to stick out of the envelope a little bit. I had a plan, and it says remember, and it has some words. This is a corrugated piece of navy blue. I have no idea where this came from. I don't know if it was a crafter thing or if it came with packaging, but look at everything that comes into your house with possibility and wonder, because a lot of the things that you get to do amazing craft projects with, they just show up in your house in packaging, or they're a sturdy layer in a folded up shirt that you buy or something like that. You don't have to spend money for all this stuff. I looked at this doily. I had tried to dye it blue before, so it has some blue, and I didn't like it, but I realized I'm not a whole doily kind of girl. I'm a torn up doily kind of girl. Okay, these stars, oh, they weigh heavy on my heart. When we moved into this house, the very first day we came here, I had Pooh Bear on a leash, and she ran full bore, something spooked her, and she ran full bore into the sliding glass door. In our other house, we didn't have sliding glass doors. We had French doors, so they had the big wood section down at the bottom so she could see them. It became apparent in that very first visit that she could not see well enough to figure out that there was a door there. So the first week we lived here, I had Post-its on all the doors, and then I went online and I ordered this giant sheet of vinyl stickers. I didn't have a Cricut or anything, and that was, and you're moving into a house. Your craft stuff's not set up anyway. And then we got new doors, so I ordered another one. So those 2 sheets of stickers have been hanging, literally clothespin to a hanger in my house for years. And Wilson can see the doors just fine. And I realized there isn't going to come a day when I need to replace those stickers on my sliding glass door, so I could use these stars in my crafting. So I decided that I would like to have some of Pooh Bear's stars in my journal. So I used a whole bunch of them, but it did weigh kind of heavy on me. So that's why I switched, and I did the fabric for a minute. I put down double-sided adhesive and I gathered that fabric along it. You can do it with wet glue, but the glue gets all over your fingers. So I really like to do it with a double-sided adhesive. If I wanted the fabric flat, then wet glue would be just fine. But to get that gathered look, a double-sided adhesive is the way to go. So there's a lot going on in a junk journal that if you don't know the source of the documents or the source of the stickers, maybe it doesn't mean quite as much to the person that flips through it. But when you make it for yourself, you can really include all that kind of stuff. So there we go. I have some of Pooh Bear stickers on my page. And that was a kind of hard thing for me, to take a pair of scissors and chop those up and just know that I didn't need that giant sheet of them anymore, and that hanging on my wall, I was never going to remember to use them in a craft project. Then I keep finding random things, right? So I took this blue metal heart, which is adorable, and glued it onto another page. Then I had used the square scallop punch on that red gingham because I never used the square scallop punch, and I tried it. I didn't like it. I went back and I used the round punch to make it work. And here we are on 31. The holographic doesn't show quite as well on camera sometimes, but I used blue, red, and holographic. Oh, and I think some like gray shimmer in this book too. Those red tags were in that Joanne kit where you were supposed to like make cookies and there were tags and different things. I don't know. And I just wanted to use them, and I really hadn't used any of them. There were also stickers that said homemade with love, but I covered that up. Okay. If you have a connection to Tim Holtz, I would like you to tell him that staples should go the long way in the box. When you make staples, they go the long way. We don't want 70 short pieces of staples. Open a normal box of staples and look at them. The tiny attacher staples are ridiculous. It's like they were made by people who don't know how to make staples. So they come in these tiny sections. I don't know why they didn't make them longer. Anyway, so if you talk to Tim, be sure and let him know. Oh, we're almost there. Almost there. I'm just finding all of these stars just like I said would happen. As I began to clean up, I found paint smush stars and sticker stars and all these tags and puffy stickers. And I love these silver puffy stickers from Joanne. They were in like the, cheapo bin one time. Love them. And then those are frosted stars. Those are Queen and Company. And I like those too. Then I went to do my journaling and I realized it was a piece of doodlebug paper and they had their branding information on back. No problem. No problem. We'll take a scrap of this and a scrap of that and cover it up. And again, when I'm working on a project, I never throw anything away till the end. I mean, you could throw it in these are ridiculous tiny pieces, I don't think I'll use it bin, but you'd be surprised how often you reach for it. And if you just have a little trash bin on the counter, you could throw them in there and dig them out too. But if you're working on a project for a month, that doesn't work very well. I skipped, if you want to read my journaling, you can, but I don't think you care that much. I do slow down on the 31st and show you that one because I thought it was kind of interesting. And then I decided I wanted a doily right there where the red would cover it. And then I wanted it a little lower, and there we go. Okay, so that tag was virtually glued in. It was a little tricky, but I did get it out. So I worked, and the people came and worked on the bathroom, and I was tired because I stayed up too late the night before working on a craft project. This page, again, this flag paper is from Melodi's kit, and both places that I used it in the book, I just couldn't cover it up. I mean, she meant it to be a beautiful background paper, but to me, I love this paper. I could not cover it up. So I had journaling paper, I was brainstorming about it, and then I was like, nope, I'm not covering it up. And by this point, we were having a bathroom remodel. Well, it was supposed to be fix the shower because we were sure it leaked. And then if you saw on Instagram or whatever, it was a big bad project because there was rot. So anyway, we're about to have a beautiful bathroom that is fancier than our whole house. and that's okay, but it has taken a while. This was interesting. This is good for you to see. I messed up. I combined the 30th and the 31st because my notes were in pencil and I didn't mark it very well and my handwriting is so bad. So what I did was I just took the darker black pen that I have that's almost like embossing. I think it's called the souffle pen, and labeled it the 31st. So that other piece of paper said, on the 31st, I went to my office for the first time that month, I think. It was very, very strange. I saw 4 people while I was there, and one of them was like way down the hall. And I work in a very big building. You would see 4 people before you got to your desk. 31st of July, as the month winds down, I am so surprised by our new reality. We wear masks to work, shop, exercise. Well, not me. And that's just how it is. School is distance learning until November. We will both be working from home again soon. We drive very little. Vehicles have become storage containers for us. I think I don't know what it said, but do you store stuff in your cars? We're doing that now because, if something's in the way in the house, and you can just put it in the car because the car's not really going anywhere. It's very strange. So those are the pages from the last video. And then here's these, and we just went through them, so you've seen them. I have a lot of white space on these pages or blank where the background's showing, but I kind of like it. I don't imagine that I will fill that up when you're not looking. This one I went kind of crazy with, didn't I? Here I'm checking to see if that souffle pen is dry so I can show you what the page will look like when it's all put together. The light blue paper won't be there. That was just in case, but those will all lay out. And then here's the 31st, and that piece of paper will tuck right into that envelope, and the little red tag will stick out on the fabric. And there's all sorts of things. I wanted to use that blue and white flower sticker many times, but it was just too big for so much stuff on the pages. And here's a jar of goodness. So I might go back through and glue buttons and stars on as I tidy up. At this point, I've cleaned up quite a bit, but I haven't put everything away because I'm still going to do my tassel. Here's a couple charms, and I know there's some more charms on the counter. I wouldn't be surprised if I put a whole bunch of star charms on it. Thank you so much for watching. If you missed this collab along the way, be sure and watch Making Memories with Melodi. Bye-bye.